Aviation hasn't been a big thing in Uganda. The last airline was Air Uganda, which was about 7-8 years ago. The national airline closed about 21 years ago. So the level of knowledge and understanding is limited to what they see, what we see. So one of the other projects we're going to benefit from is the...
Yes, the airline itself may not make money, but it can help other sectors of the economy to make money for the nation.
GDP.
If I went to the supplier directly. So yeah, that's how Uganda Airlines will benefit. Then the other project we were talking about with my colleague Shakila, we appreciate that aviation hasn't been a big thing in Uganda. The last airline was Air Uganda, which was about 7-8 years ago. The national airline closed about 21 years ago. So the level of knowledge and understanding is limited to what they see, what we see. So one of the other projects we're going to benefit from is the knowledge sharing and capacity building of our press and media houses in Uganda. They've done similar projects in Kenya. They worked closely with Kenya Airways, and that's a project we want to bring to Uganda, whereby we work closely with our media houses, with AFRA, and then later with IATA, because it will be joint. So our next meeting, when they come back, either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, that will be one of the programs that we will have to be able to build that capacity, so that when our press colleagues are reporting, it's from a point of knowledge and to appreciate. Because if you say the loss is this big, you need to be able to understand what is in this loss and what can the airline do to bring this loss down. The airline looks at the cost structures. So that's the kind of knowledge we want the public to know, but that can only happen from press. If you appreciate the industry and understand it, then you're able to report. AFRA team in Nairobi, that was one of the things we asked, because we wanted to know, we were seeing, because I've attended some in my past, so we talked with Shakila and some of my colleagues that had gone down, that what does it take to do this? So we went and met Bate and his team. We wanted to know, how do we bring this conference to Uganda? Now, in terms of budgeting, because it's happening in 2023, that will be budgeted for in the next budget. Our part as the airline is very minimal, because it's only the advertising bit, which is really the list of the... Of course, Civil Aviation will be our partner in this, the airport as well, which is under the Civil Aviation, Ministry of Tourism, because we are promoting Uganda as a destination. That means we'll be looping in UTB. So these are the partners that come on board to support the project. So we will have, this is just the beginning. We're going to have a bigger meeting where we'll come together as stakeholders, and of course the press as well. You'll be our partners. We come together and then we now start to work the whole process out. It's not something we're going to work on our own in the silos. Yes, thank you.
As a nation, but also as an airline, to be able to maybe negotiate better on the continent. And also it takes away, through AFRA, we can be able to take away unnecessary competition, which would actually kill our airline industry on the continent. Instead, we should be seeing on how do we work together as African airlines to ensure that the airline industry on the continent survives and serves our people. And I think that's one of the very important things about through which AFRA will bring on table, that will enable us as a continent to be able to survive in this very competitive industry as a nation, but also as an airline, to be able to maybe negotiate better on the continent. And also it takes away, through AFRA, we can be able to take away unnecessary competition, which would actually kill our airline industry on the continent. Instead, we should be seeing on how do we work together as African airlines to ensure that the airline industry on the continent survives and serves our people. And I think that's one of the very important things about through which Afra will bring on table, that will enable us as a continent to be able to survive in this very competitive industry.
In fact, 3 airlines, 2 in Mali at different times, and Air Burkina. Usually, when you work out a business plan, you expect the profitability in 5 years, not before. Because as I said, you need to invest, you need to build a network to have customers' loyalty to the airline. It takes time, and also you have competitors. When you start, it's not an empty market. You just come and you take the market shares. You need to take the market shares. Usually it's 5 years. Knowing that 2020, 2021, and 2022, as I said, were impacted by the COVID-19 at a time, because Uganda Airlines started in 2019, just after the COVID.
In August.
Yeah, in August. You see, it has impacted all airlines. It impacts more an airlines which is starting. So, making profitability in normal situation, it's 5 years. So with the COVID, it can be even, I have to be honest, it can be even 7 years, for example. As Your Excellency, you said, the most important thing, if you have a national airline, is the contribution of the airlines to the development of a country in terms of creation of jobs, tourism, trade, connectivity. So you have to put this also in the balance. You know, you have many states today, they don't have a national airlines. So it's an asset for Uganda to have Uganda Airlines and to support these airlines. So that's what I can say about the profitability. If you look at the African continent, only some few airlines are in reality profitable. That's why Maureen was talking about the laboratory we have organized, the sustainability of air transport, because we need to create an environment to sustain our airlines also. Because one of the challenges we have in Africa is the high cost environment. That's why during the laboratory we were talking about taxes and charges, which are very high, and that's why also at AFRA we have a fuel committee. So all our projects at AFRA we are undertaking, the objective is to reduce costs for our member airlines or to increase their revenues. So this is also something very, very important to mention.
Yes, I think you have got it from an experienced person, and it is true. Maybe just
to make in-house training, if any airlines is willing to have in-house training. We also have put in place a consulting unit at AFRA since December 2019. Under the consulting unit, you can make consulting for states or for airlines. And we have some consulting companies, global companies. And we have already worked in Cameroon, for example, on air transport sustainability, and we are working currently on a project also in Kenya on the development of air transport in Kenya with one of our consulting partners. So we are offering all these opportunities to our members. And after our visit today, I'm very happy because we have seen some facilities. Tomorrow also we'll see some facilities. We have no worries that it will have a very great General Assembly in Uganda. And Air Uganda has been a valuable partner for AFRA. And as I said, the service is a very good service. And the CEO, I knew the CEO since many years because I've been CEO of airline for 16 years.
Ooh.
Yes, I've been CEO in Mali, in Air Burkina, before I joined AFRA. So I met her years ago. She has a very good level of experience. And for me, I'm saying that because I've been 16 years CEO. So experience is something very important. Experience and leadership. I am an engineer from the French Civil Aviation School. I have a master on business administration. However, I can tell you after 16 years, the experience is the most important. What I have learned today is it's not at the school, engineering school.
It's true.
It's my experience.
Yes.
So experience is very important. Of course, to succeed, an airline needs to have a good business plan, the right fleet, and the network. And it takes time to build an airline. It takes time. Because when you start a network, you have some competitors. You need to show to the market that you have a good service, a good quality of service. Today, one of the things I want to say is also the on-time performance. Aircraft leaving at the scheduled time is something very important. And we even arrived, I think, ahead of the time, because normally we were to arrive at 15 past 9, we arrived ahead of time. This is very, very important. And Uganda Airline need to keep this on-time performance.
Thank you.
I was running Air Burkina. Air Burkina was famous in West Africa regarding on-time performance. And even I remember one day I asked my team, please, don't arrive 30 minutes before the scheduled time, because the ground handlers will not be ready for you. So I am very pleased, and I wish the best for Ugandan Airlines with the support of the government. And an airline cannot be profitable when it's created in 3-5 years. It's not possible.
You better tell them, sir.
Yes, this is very important to know. It takes time.
Yes.
It takes time because you have to invest. And in any investment, the return on investment is not immediate. It takes some time to happen. So also the CRJ 900, I know the CRJ aircraft because I operated CRJs also. It's a very good aircraft in terms of profitability and regional network also. So for me, building a network takes time. You have to build a regional network to support long haul. And I'm happy to see that Uganda Airlines is building a regional network and then starting now to yes, because you need to feed your long haul routes with your regional network. So this is also something very, very important. And the customer service is very important. And we have some airlines whereby the customer is not the king. So I have seen that with Uganda Airlines, the customer service is very good. This is also
crisis, 2008, the whole globe was impacted. And then we saw African airlines and other airlines starting from the same point. However, globally, airlines started making profits. But African airlines only made profits in 2010. So from 2010 all the way, even before COVID, our African airlines, if you aggregate their performance, they did not make profits. The ones that made profits are just a few, you can count with your fingers, and many airlines could not reach that. So these challenges that are affecting airlines are also affecting our own national airline here in Uganda. The situation in Africa actually is that it's really a very challenging environment. We've talked about the various challenges. And in seeking solutions to these challenges is now how we can help these airlines strive. If you look at performance in terms of load factors is the how the aircraft has been filled. In Africa, these figures have always been less than 70% for the last decade or so. However, globally, airlines are doing figures of 80% and above. If you look at connectivity, the intra-Africa market is the least connected. So if you compare African airlines and the global airlines, we have a long way to go. It is not a unique situation to one country. It is, however, a challenge that we are putting ourselves as AFRA and other stakeholders to change the narrative of Africa, to change the narrative of African airlines so that we can also be sustainable and globally also compare, because in terms of the traffic, in terms of population, Africa has got the traffic, Africa has the population. We have what we need to make our airlines strive. We also need to have government support, and we commend the support of the government of Uganda towards the air transport industry, and we need to continue seeing this happening across other African countries. Thank you.
so